Hi guys, welcome to this session of Advanced Macro. Macro to get data from MS Access database to MS Excel for analysis purpose. So, let's connect and pull data from a database. Let's begin with Visual Basic for application for developing macros in Excel. The objective of this session is to learn and master database connection and data retrieval by developing a macro in VBA. Points to be discussed. To connect to a database and retrieve data using a macro in Excel. You'll use VBA, Visual Basic for applications, to establish a connection to an external SQL database, execute a query, and then bring the results into the worksheet. The macro from will execute the SQL query, select *from SalesTransactions, and place the resulting data in an Excel worksheet. It will list each transaction with the corresponding fields, making it easy to analyze sales directly in Excel. The following example will be used for demonstration. This example shows how to automate data retrieval from an Access database into Excel. It is useful for automating repetitive data import tasks, generating reports, and working with dynamic data sets. The MS Access database, Sales DB, contains a table for sales transactions with basic fields like transaction ID, customer name, product, quantity, price, and transaction date. Here is the table structure with the fields or attributes with their data types and description of each of the field. For more information database, please visit my blog. Recall RDBMS and SQL. Also recall macros with or without arguments. Please refer to my blog and check videos on my channel on YouTube. For now, in short, RDBMS, Relational Database Management System, Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, MS Access, Sybase, etc. are used to store and maintain data of the organization. MS Access is used for personal databases, and it is file-based RDBMS, whereas Oracle, MySQL, or SQL Server are server-based. SQL, Structured Query Language, is a language of RDBMS, and it is used to interact with the relational database. Let us now implement the concept by actually creating database, table, and insert records in the created table. Finally, a macro is developed in VBA to pull data from MS Access database and copy it to Excel for processing and generating reports. Excel VBA for beginners. Connect and pull data from a database. Example: Sales database. Database name: Sales DB. Table name: Sales Transactions. I have already prepared SQL queries to create the table and insert records. Let's start first by creating the database in MS Access, RDBMS for creating personal databases. The database created with the name SalesDB in the folder Macros Demo. Recall MS Access is a file-based RDBMS. Click on the Create button to create the database. Remember, the extension of MS Access database is AccessDB. The database created opens up in the MS Access interface with a default table named Table 1. Delete this table, as I want to create table using a Create Table SQL query. To open SQL Query window in MS Access, click on Menu option Create and select Query Design option. A query can be designed visually in MS Access. Please close the design window. Right-click on Query 1 and select SQL View option from the shortcut or pop-up menu. Till now, database SalesDB is created. Now let's copy the Create Table code and paste in SQL View window in MS Access. Now click on Run button on the toolbar to execute the Create Table query. Observe the empty table sales transactions is created. Close the table for now. Next job is to insert records in the created table. Recall SQL provide insert into table query to insert the records. Here are the insert queries ready to be used. Although one insert query can be used to insert multiple records. However, MS Access only permits a single record to be inserted in a table at a time. Let's copy and paste in SQL View of MS Access. Now run each insert query at a time to insert a record in the table. Insert query on successful execution displays a message box to append a record for confirmation. Click on Yes button. Double-click the table name to pin it to see whether a record is actually inserted. Great! Now let's close the table and execute other insert queries one by one to insert all the records. So, all the insert queries successfully executed. Let's view the table sales transactions now. Yes! First part completed, database created, table created, and records inserted in the table. Click on Yes button to save the change in the layout of the table. Click on Close option to close the database. Now, let's create the macro to fetch data from created MS Access database by executing a SQL query and display the retrieved data in Excel. Let's open Excel and create an Excel workbook. Visit my blog and watch videos on how to develop macros in Excel. Select Developer menu option and click on Macros option. It displays a dialog box. Here, paste the copied macro name. The code window for VBA displays the created macro as a procedure defined with the sub and end sub keywords. The macro code in Visual Basic is already created to save time. Let's copy and paste it in VBA code window. Paste the copied code between the sub and end sub keywords. The connection object is used to connect to the database using a connection string. The record set object holds the retrieved records from the database. Recall, MS Access is a file-based reference. Here we need to specify the path of the database file in the connection string. Replace the database file path by the actual path of the database file. The select query to retrieve the records from the sales transactions table. The code actually copies the data and header names from the table to Excel. Error handler mechanism is used to handle any error that can occur during execution. Let's close and return to Excel. Let's run and test the created macro. Click on Run button to run the macro. A compile error. The objects like connection and record set are used in macro. However, to use these objects, the library needs to be referenced in the VBA code. Let's see how to add it. Click on Tools menu option and select Reference. From the displayed dialog, select Microsoft ActiveX Data Objects Library 6.1 version. Then click on OK button. Let's run it again to check for any other error. Oh, unable to find the database. Let's open VBA window and check. Can you guess the reason of this error? Yes, the file extension is missing. So let's add it. Close and return to Excel. Click on Macros option to run and test the macro. Wow, it's done. Great. Just by changing the connection string, you can connect to any RDBMS. That is Oracle, SQL Server, and MySQL. Once the data is copied to Excel, you can use different analysis tools for decision making. Check my videos on what-if analysis tools. Click on Macros option in Toolbar and click on Edit button to edit the macro in the displayed dialog box. Let's check the database after macro execution. As you can see, data remain intact in the table. Here, we have learnt and understood the database connectivity and retrieve data copied to Excel. Please comment for any query. I will surely reply. Macro code connect to a MS Access database, runs a query, and return the results in the active sheet. Here is quick recap of the VBA code. Connection setup. The open method establishes a connection to the MS Access database. 2. SQL query. The STR variable contains the SQL query to retrieve data from the database. 3. Record set. The open method executes the SQL query and stores the results in the record set. 4. Copy data to Excel. The code copies the data from the record set to the active worksheet. Applications, use cases. Financial reports. Retrieve real-time financial data from the database and display it in Excel for analysis or visualization. 2. Inventory management. Pull data on stock levels, supplier orders, and more for tracking and monitoring. 3. Sales data. Connect to a sales database, retrieve recent sales transactions, and analyze trends in Excel. Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to my channel for more exiting videos coming up. Please do like and share the video. Also subscribe to my channel. Visit my blog for more details and information. Thank you again, guys, for watching the video. Please share your views by commenting.